Well, good evening, everybody. It's really lovely to see so many faces in the Community Matters meeting this evening, and welcome everybody. So to officially start, welcome to the Community Matters Committee meeting for Wednesday, the 24th of July, 7:30. We'll go through a few bits of the agenda, and then for anybody that's previously seen the agenda, we're just going to move around two elements. We're going to move my chairman's update, myself and David's update, after public participation. So we'll just do a few bits and pieces that we need to, and then we can start with the public participation element of the meeting. So first one, a little bit of housekeeping, just in terms of fire safety. We're not expecting any fire drills for this evening at all. So if you do hear the fire drill, or if you do hear the fire alarm, it would be a real one. Our fire exits, the nearest for all of you, is just at the end of the building there, and our congregating area is in the car park. Across the road, please sort of exit through and over the zebra crossing, so that's safety. The second element is just on recording of meetings. I know we've got lots of members of the public and our residents in here this evening, and some of you I know are going to be speaking. So if anybody in the audience at all wishes to record and the person speaking doesn't wish it to be recorded, please just make that known to either myself or Wendy, and then we'll ask that person not to record. Apologies for absence. So although we've got a few councillors in the audience, we have actually got a few apologies to make from those that were meant to be attending. So we've got apologies from Bob Cartwright and Martin Dowling, and they've both been noted. Okay, so that brings us then, declarations of interest. Sorry, let me just do that one. Before we move on, is there any declarations of interest to declare?
None that I'm aware. None that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
And none for me either, Wendy. Okay, that's all done. Okay, straight on to public participation then. So at this point, we welcome anybody to sort of make themselves known to us to speak. There's two sets of mics available, so somebody, you can come up to the microphone. No worries, thank you, Laura. And if you just press the microphone just to make sure that everybody can hear you in the room and online as well.
It just feels strange that I can't see the people that I'm talking to.
I know. Should we move that around?
We'll go here.
Thanks, Laura. Thank you.
I might speak Spanish.
You want to speak as well? Okay. So, Dean, would you like to go first? Okay. The person sat next to me is Dean. Dean, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name's Dean, and I would like to do this more often, so I can get more used to doing the one-to-ones and playing the drums.
And what is it that you'd like to do more often?
Doing one-to-ones.
In what? What is the one-to-one activity that you'd like to do?
Playing the drums.
With?
Laura.
Is that all you want to say?
I would like to do it more often with Laura one-to-one.
Thanks, Dean.
Thanks, Dean.
No, I will stay here. And
you want to sit here while I speak?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, my name is Laura Porter. I run an inclusive music group in Portishead, and very recently have started branching out into other areas of North Somerset, thanks to having been awarded as an individual a substantial grant from Arts Council England to research and develop access to practical music making for disabled and vulnerable people across North Somerset. The majority of my provision has been in Portishead. I've recently been branching out, as I said, and I've recently submitted an application for grant funding to Portishead Town Council. I understand, and all of my musicians and supporters that have turned up for me tonight, thank you very much, understand that there will not be a decision tonight, but we're just going to use this as an opportunity to introduce ourselves and tell the community a little bit about what we're doing. It is hard to dispute the devastating effects of budget cuts to arts and culture, but even more so the cuts to adult services, children's services, education, mental health and social care provision across our region. Since November, I've been funded by Arts Council England to research and develop access and provision for practical music making in North Somerset. These past 9 months, my experience working directly in all the sectors mentioned above has solidified my belief in the importance of utilising the creative arts for their well-documented benefits on well-being and other key social outcomes. The professional provision I've developed is being very well received by organisations throughout North Somerset. Larger regional organisations, in receipt of strategic funding, have approached me to deliver my unique new provision to meet their own delivery targets in their priority areas, including Bourneville, Milton and Wirral. But it is clear to me that there is also need right here in Portishead. Portishead is perceived by many outsiders to be a wealthy North Somerset town. I'm finding this perception is a key reason that generating funding for activities to run in Portishead for Portishead's people can be so difficult. And it concerns me greatly that residents from my own town who have been instrumental in developing my new provision will be left without access to something that they have helped to create just because we don't live in an area identified by outsiders as meeting criteria to benefit from regional or national strategic funds. I ask that as you consider my grant application, you recognise that I am asking for support towards providing 40 weeks of ongoing provision for Portishead's own micro communities who are often left on the outskirts of similar experiences because of the barriers they face. Our accessible, unique and truly inclusive provision is making a significant and ongoing difference to residents' day-to-day sense of belonging, their sense of equality and validity, and their right to be visible, included and celebrated in their own community. Please help us to keep our provision here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Dean. Oh, that's okay, Laura. No problem. Yeah, thank you. As I said, we kind of welcome you here this evening to kind of hear that. And for everybody that's here, I know we've got a lot of people that are here that are sort of users of your provision as well. But it's good for the wider community to actually understand what it is that you are providing as well. So I know we've been in communication, you know where we are now in terms of the timelines and where we are. And we as soon as we can, we will be back in touch. Yeah. Does anybody else like to... Yeah. Can you, if you could come to the mic, that would be really helpful. It's just so the people online can then hear you. And if you could introduce yourself, that would be great.
My name is Tracy Shepherd. I'm here on behalf of my 8-year-old grandson, Nick, who has significant early years trauma. He was taken into care at 3 months old and then came to me at 18 months old. He has really, really struggled to be in an educational setting. And from September last year, he's had no educational setting at all. There are no SEN places available for him in the whole of North Somerset. So Laura, in November, very, very kindly offered us a session in Portishead Youth Club on a Friday morning. Nick was very, very reluctant to start. He found it very, very frustrating. He has communication problems. He has he can't express his feelings. He doesn't know how to express his feelings or his behaviours. He doesn't realise when he's going off piste, if you like. Despite all that, Laura has stuck with him every single week. It's been really difficult. I mean, to start with, he would just go in and thrash her out the drum kit, and in anger. From Christmas, up and from November till Christmas, it took her that long. At Christmas, they developed a story all about animals going to see Father Christmas at the North Pole, and they used all of these different instruments to represent different animals on this journey to the North Pole. From that, he's now able to sit and talk to Laura. It's not just about music. It's not just about picking up an instrument and learning how to play an instrument. For Nick, it's so much more than that. It's his emotional ability, it's his ability to be able to communicate. He talks to her about things. Sometimes they don't even pick up an instrument for the whole half an hour. He just goes around talking about different things, about how he feels. He expresses his feelings through the music. If he's angry, he'll bang on the drums. If he's feeling happy, he'll sit there and get all of the instruments out on the floor, and they just talk about what all the instruments are about. But this is all about Nick expressing his feelings. And within the last couple of weeks, they've been doing things like getting characters from his Lego sets and things, building warships. They've made the music, the soundtrack from Star Wars, the soundtrack from Doctor Who, all the things that he's interested in. And that's what Laura's unlocked. That's what she does, the way that she supports him. Like I say, it's not just about picking up an instrument. It's about that emotional support as well. In Portishead, we have nothing for children under the year 6. There's no clubs. He can't go to a youth club, SEN youth club in Portishead until he's 11, which is ridiculous. There is no support group. We either have to go to Bristol or we have to go to Western. There is no alternative provision in Portishead apart from Portishead Youth Club, which has only just been granted. And we have to apply for funding for that too. But I mean, for these people like Laura, I mean, she goes out of her way. She's given up her own time and her own life skills to support our kids. Please don't turn it down. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. No rush.
Hi everybody, my name is Tonya Abdullahi. Oh, thank you. And I work with people with learning disability in different spectrums. And I've been in this job for over 20 years. I'm pretty much involved because I really, despite being a service manager, but I really, really enjoy being with them and support them directly rather than just doing paperwork. Specifically, I just want to say the work that Laura does. I have a young, very, very clever gentleman who's nonverbal. When I said nonverbal, by all means nonverbal. And he can't cope when it's a group. So Laura kindly see him in a one-to-one session. And most of the time, I sit that they have in youth club, they have a room and then is a window divided between the two rooms. I sit behind the window because when I go into the room, I get overexcited and I distract them. So I always sit behind the window. And in very few occasions, the work and the effect of Laura's working with this young man made me cry because I saw that he's nonverbal, but he's singing along with Laura. And it's not just about playing music, it's about them. So if they are angry, one day when he's angry for no reason and we don't know why, he definitely show it with his music. If he's happy, he will sing along and repeat the sounds that I never thought he will be able to repeat them. So it's not just about playing music or wasting some time. And I can see, I have to say that how much Laura put from her own time. And she always smiled despite her own physical problem and pain, which we are very similar. But Laura never have any problem. He never show anything. And the same time, one of the other young women that I have in my team, and we support her. I've been with her, I've been supporting her over 12 years. And I never thought she will be able to put a finger on piano or keyboard or anything. And now you have to come and see how she is playing to sing it, to play on keyboard a whole song for, I don't know, her niece's birthday. And it's amazing, okay? And all of them is purely because of the work that Laura did with them. And of course, she can't just do all the time. Every time that we know there is no budget left and they have to contribute towards the session, you have to see Laura's face, honestly, as if she's signing a death sentence for somebody. She doesn't want to accept the money from them. And a lot of time, I had an argument with her. I said, you can't carry on like that. You can't just put from your own pocket. So it's very, very important. And as I said, everything, like last week, they had another music, it's a dance class. They run out of funding and they closed their dance class. And the effect on people that have learning disability, for some of them, they don't understand why the class is finished. They don't understand the budget is run out. What does it mean? Some of them think they have done something wrong. According to one of them, she said, have I been too naughty in the classes? That's why they closed down the classes. So it's so important. Please look into it with a kind eyes, please. And that's my girl that I said I never thought she gonna play anything. And now you have to come and see how she's playing. It's amazing. Well done, Grace. Thank you. Go on. Say. There's cry when you go on. Say it to me. Go on. What do you want to say?
I'm doing really well in music.
This is Grace. Grace is an adult participant that comes to my group, and Grace also has a one-to-one. And Grace is doing really, really well and has recently invested in her own set of hand chimes. And she's been doing some little bits of soloing, haven't you, Grace? Yeah. Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Yeah, I would like the music group to still carry on, or with you, especially you.
Thanks, Grace.
You're good.
We finished?
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Gabriella Gemma Castro, and I'd like to say a few words. Life is about money, because that's important. I think, based on Laura, it's usually on science. Life is about money, and to make really music, noise, and I do think science is very serious.
Thanks. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Gabriella?
No.
No, all finished?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There is no rush.
Okay.
I'm Anne Ramsey. That was my daughter Grace, who was up earlier in tears. Really, what I wanted to say is when I started Springboard with parents, it's nearly 40 years ago, and so I understand about funding, and I know that you can't give funding to everything. I think I just want to say really that this activity is, although it's based in Portishead, people from all over the north of North Somerset particularly come to it. Grace lives in Nailsea, but she comes here for music, for the gym. She goes to Clevedon for the YMCA club. There's lots of activities in Nailsea that people from Portishead come to, and people from Clevedon come to, and Pill and Portbury. They have to be based somewhere. And Laura's done a great job of utilising the facilities at the youth club or in other facilities, other halls and things. And she started something after COVID that we never thought would be possible. When COVID hit, everything stopped for our kids and things are gradually getting back together again. And she started something from just an idea, I think, something that she wanted to do. So we do understand that you can't do everything, but there is a wider community out there of our youngsters who live all over the place, who love to come to Portishead and spend their money as well. They go into the cafes, they go into the shops, they contribute to Portishead, they catch the buses, they're bringing something in to the town. They're not just taking it away. So thank you.
Thank you.
I want to carry on with music now. Hi Kevin. I want to carry on with music with Laura. She does amazing with me. She does amazing. And I like Laura. She's a fantastic lady.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes. I love pretty much has something, and I like playing the bells, and it's fantastic.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Emily. I've been a resident of Portishead for over a decade. Both of my daughters were born here. Something I didn't write down is that actually Laura has also come into their school. So she doesn't just do these programs outside of school. I know, Eve, you've enjoyed doing music with Laura in school, haven't you? Yeah. And I'd like to ask you to consider now here, this is funding application. I have very limited knowledge of funding and grants, but I have had the pleasure of attending multiple of Laura's events as a photographer. The freedom it brings to everyone who can attend cannot be understated. Being able to bring your child, whether it be a newborn, toddler, school age or adult, to a musical event where you are not only able to join in and move around, but it is expected and welcomed. I'm sure you understand it is a massive relief and joy to the majority of people. I'm also sure I don't need to go over how fulfilling and magical it is for a person who is so often told no, is told yes, come touch this instrument. Yes, please play along with my song. And yes, of course, I want you to dance during the performance. But one thing I didn't quite realise until attending Laura's last big event is how much it is needed for everyone else in the room, how much energy and excitement the swing band gained from having a participating crowd and being able to join in that crowd before and after, rather than just packing their things up and leaving, and how much the band comprised of adults with special needs felt their hard work and talent appreciated by a group of children who now know it's absolutely possible for them to make music as they grow up. I really believe the fantastic fun and attendees enjoy that the attendees enjoy. These events make. Sorry, she's edited my words. These events make everyone involved and the community around them so much more gentle, caring and responsive, which is just so important in everyone's lives. It would be a massive loss to our local areas if Laura's carefully planned and loved classes and events had to end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Chris Sparing. Sonia, oh, what do I have to do with it?
You're fine, Chris, you're fine. You've just turned it.
Oh, hey, can you hear me there in the back? Yeah, let's rock and roll. Okay, yeah, my name's Chris Sparing. Sonia was referring there to my own son, so I'm very much experienced with what Laura's doing. And I just really want to back up one of the very, very important things that she said. I'm sure you all know from the natural history stuff that I do. And I've experienced this thing whereby the other areas seem to get funding, but we don't. And I experience it from the fact that I get invited all the time to lead walks and do talks for communities or help community groups actually running wildlife programs in other areas. And it's interesting, it doesn't happen here. The other thing I'd like to say is the work that Laura does is absolutely incredible. I've been along to the sessions where my son, Mark, and I see a tremendous difference in him there. I see a tremendous difference in him at home as well. I'm a musician myself. I can see tremendous progress and very important things. Something that we've all got, we're all pretty good at, is timing. Mark's not. Now he's getting it. And that's a life skill that he's learned from that. On a very last note, can I just say that I know the funding's for 40 weeks. I really hope Laura gets it and continues to do her amazing work. But can we have, and you councillors have got contacts, haven't you? I mean, you have got contacts. Can we think of the future? Can we think of the fact that sometime in the future we could be looking at Laura's Academy, based here in Portishead, serving the entire region? Thank you very much for listening.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jonathan Mock. I'm a musician, would you believe? An amateur one, but when I was about 8, so this is 7 actually, this is 50 years ago, I had an accident and I cut my hand open and severed the tendons in my index finger and was pretty much told, probably never recover the use of your hand again. Had the operation done, and one of the things that I did as part of my rehabilitation was I learned to play the guitar. And some people will say 50 years later, I'm still learning how to play the guitar. But that and drawing were key to me getting the use of my hand back. We know that there are very good mental benefits to playing music, to listening to music. You know, and I am, like I say, I'm a musician. With the advent of technology, I've been able to start recording stuff. So that's, you know, I can tell you, it is a fabulous release to be able to play an instrument. So we know that there are mental benefits to, you know, to being able to play an instrument. And you're talking about people here who are already marginalized. And it would be a shame if a town like Portishead, which is supposedly very affluent, can't somehow fund, I think, as they said, Laura's Academy, but to actually fund, you know, provision for people who, you know, people who want to play music. They want, you know, they want to have some kind of social interaction and to play music. And I think Portishead Town Council can find the money, quite frankly. I think if you look at what you're supporting and look at what is being asked here, I'm quite sure you could find the money. I will leave you with a quote from one of my favourite bands, Canadian group called Rush, and they have a song, and there is a line that says, "One likes to believe in the freedom of music, but glittering prizes and endless compromises shatter the illusion of integrity." Thank you.
Paul Maltby. The councillors in this room will be quite aware that I often come and berate them for spending our public money. This is what our money should be spent on. This is what our councils should be spending their money on. I fully support it. And Laura, if you give me your details, I'll also make £100 donation.
Yes, IT Solutions Limited will do £1,000 a year.
Wow.
The academy begins. I believe that she is looking for the money for the rental of the buildings. I think that is about £5,000 a year that she needs. So if I do that, that's
Hello, my name is Rachel Westwood. I run an alternative provision. We're based in Weston. As someone was saying, there's only Portishead Youth Club that are a registered alternative provision in Portishead so far. Our provision is going to be based on the seafront and Weston-super-Mare, and talking to Laura about maybe she can have some of our space for free because we've got a beautiful, quite a large space. So it's obviously our gain, but it's Portishead's loss if Laura's going to be based just solely in Weston. A few other things I wanted to touch on were, I've worked in special educational needs now for 25 years. I was a senior lecturer at Weston College. I was the head of an alternative provision in Weston before now starting up my own business. And I've never seen provision as quality as what Laura's offering. Her sort of skills as a musician, but also what she brings to, I don't know if you want me to go into personal details about, like Laura's neurodivergent herself. She's obviously been through quite extreme trauma in her life. I think you say you're not trauma, you don't necessarily like that, but you know, she's coming as a co-producer. She's not, you know, like I say, I've got all this experience, but I've not actually lived it. And I don't have any, I've got 3 children, but none of whom have needed to tap into any sort of provision like this. So I think the quality of what Laura's offering, and as someone said, like, you know, Laura's Academy, for Portishead to have Laura is such an asset. And in 10 years' time, I think the council will be on the map as, you know, having supported Laura when she was starting. And then there was one other thing I wanted to say, which I've forgotten. That obviously Portishead Town Council have got all these great spaces, like here, like the folk hall, and the other spaces that you've been, you know, I think almost if you don't feel you can give her the full amount, which I think we all definitely think you should, but can she not use this space free? You know, this is a beautiful space right in the heart of Portishead, for everyone to come. And I don't know your guys' experience, but like I say, from someone who's been in this all my sort of career, what you would be funding for Laura is absolutely amazing. And you've heard from obviously all the people that firsthand have experienced it. There is nothing else out there at all like him, and even more so in Portishead. So yeah, I hope you consider it.
Yeah, for our children, the children that can't go to school, or the children that are having to have home education because they've got no other option, the OTAS plans and things. It's all very well. Yes, we've got a fantastic youth club for the children in Portishead, but they are fully neurodiverse children. our kids cannot cope to going into a space like that and having these large groups of children and all the noise. And like I said, until they're 11, there is no provision at all. You taught us there for children, our children, who are really, really struggling with everyday things in life. We can't get speech and language, we can't get occupational therapy, we can't go to camps. If we want those services, we have to go to Western. Mine boys in alternative provision, twice a week. I have to take him to Western for 2 hours a week because there is nothing here in Portishead. We need to open up these avenues for our children. Families are moving away from Portishead because there is nothing here. There's no schools, nothing for our kids.
Okay, do we have anybody online that wants to speak? I think we've got a hand up there. Oh, is it ours or? Okay, if there's anybody online that wishes to speak, if you could just make it known. No? Are we all okay? Okay. Would anybody else like to speak? Yeah. Whichever you're comfortable with, yeah.
I push it.
The red, push it again and then the red light will come on. Brilliant.
Hello. Councillor Blackmore, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Ian Smith. I don't know how I'm going to follow all of that because it's really inspiring. So and I wish you all the luck in getting your grants. So yeah, what was I going to talk about? I hope to say it now for something completely different. I've got some notes, but they've gone by. I've just got a couple of.
You've just turned your microphone.
Okay, so my first issue is about sort of road safety. A local. I've lived in Portishead for 30 years, and obviously there's a lot more traffic about. And recently, I wrote a message to North Somerset Council regarding how do you make a proposal for a speed limit change. They responded to say that basically I needed to speak to Portishead Town Council, and if there was enough support, then maybe that could be introduced. So my proposal or my worry about the safety is around the Portishead Recycling Centre, just opposite the police training centre in Valley Road. Now, currently, I don't know if everyone's aware of that road is 60 miles an hour speed limit, goes from 30 to 60 after the police HQ all the way down to the B3124 past the recycling centre. Now, there is a large slow written in the road. Sometimes people observe that, sometimes people do not. So when residents of the here and surrounding areas visit the recycling centre, you deposit your goods in the appropriate bins and you leave the recycling centre. Many people who live in Portishead have to turn right, go up the hill, etc. And that could be a bit of a lottery. There is a lot of vegetation just outside the recycling centre by the barriers, which obscures visibility up the hill. Many vehicles might have trailers, be slow vans, different vehicles of different capacity in terms of getting from 0 to 60. But when you're turning right out of a junction, it's very difficult to get your speed up. A few times when I've pulled out, something comes down the hill at a rapid rate of knots. You have to stick your foot out to keep that going because you're halfway across the road. They may brake in time. All depends on speed. But I just feel that is an accident waiting to happen. Well, maybe not an accident, but a collision could happen. My history is I was once involved in an accident in the locality on a motorcycle. Excuse me. I was very lucky that day. Involved in an accident with another car. Yeah, the one thing that that done to me, the trauma, and just the experience of that accident, it honed your senses in a different way, which a lot of people wouldn't appreciate unless you've been through it. So consequently, after that, for a while, I was very hyper vigilant, still am. And I have made recommendations for other safety provisions, the library, and I think there's a barrier, most probably that's been put in because of me, where I saw some cyclists, using it as a takeoff ramp, and I nearly got hit. I posted online on Facebook, and do you know what? I got a lot of barrage for that because there was children involved. But my intention was not to highlight the children being, children. It was a safety issue and a work concern, not just for myself or other people were exiting the library or the book deposit around the corner, but also the safety of those children on those bikes was of paramount importance to me. So I don't know how one would go about raising or looking at getting that speed limit at least reduced to 30 miles an hour, even flashing lights, maybe a 20 mile an hour whilst the tip is open, because I think it is, to my mind, it's important. It is something that I think should be looked at, because I can see, especially with the distractions in vehicles that people have nowadays, that it's something that should be given due consideration to. That was my first one. My second one, if I still have the time, is enforcement of the PSPO around the marina. I have dogs. I walk them around the marina. I pick up after them, and I keep them on a lead to keep them safe with around the, there's there, and there's obviously the lake grounds. The PSPO not only relates to dogs on lead and picking up poo and everything else, I suppose, but what I see is also a lot of, say, electric scooters, maybe, cyclists going around at quite a rapid rate of knots, and some areas of that dock are not particularly wide and narrow. As we know, we've had some tragic occurrences in the past. And again, my safety head on. So I like to sort of point out people when I feel they're being a bit dangerous, etc. And I've challenged some people on electric scooters before now. One was before Christmas in the dark. It was dark. Chap on his electric scooter wearing a big long dry robe thing, 20s, 30s, something like that. His dog was off lead, had a lit collar around his neck, just a flashy thing. Dog was just running all over the shop outside Burlington Road. Initially, when I saw the dog running loose, I thought, oh, someone's dog's loose, got out of the house. So how do we catch it? Then I realized it was this guy on the electric scooter who was walking his dog whilst on his electric scooter. Of course, me being me, and my wife does tell me sometimes not to speak out to people, but again, I just sort of said, well, look, yeah, point out, you shouldn't have a dog off lead and you shouldn't be on an electric scooter. I just got a barrage of abuse back, basically, told to go in certain places, which I won't repeat in front of some of the people here, but I did get a bit of abuse. But there you go, I made it known, my feelings on the matter. And then I go back to just last Friday. my wife and I are walking our dogs around the marina past Mizzen Court, and a dog off lead comes over to my dogs. Now, my dogs are relatively friendly and they don't have too much of an issue, but the other person doesn't know that. And there are a number of reactive dogs that I know in my time walking around where you don't want your dog to approach them, and it's not fair. People walk their dogs around places where they know that dogs should be on a lead if they've got reactive dogs, because they know they should be safe. You know, they shouldn't have dogs approaching them. They can control the situation. There's a gentleman with the dog. I said, oh, excuse me, your dog should be on a lead. I then was subjected to most probably the worst bit of abuse and threatening behaviour I've experienced in Portishead in my entire living here. He was swearing at me. He told me he was going to throw me in the river, in the dock. He said I could throw you in the dock. He threatened to flatten me. And that's from me just challenging him. Maybe I shouldn't say these things, but you know, my intention again was to say your dog should be on a lead. You don't know how my dogs are. And also there is a chance that you will get fined if an enforcement officer will see you. And I have spoke to people before and they hadn't realised there's a PSPO in force and that they could get fined, and they thanked me for it. But this gentleman did not. My wife was pretty frightened. She stood to the side. I was quite frightened, but you know, there's not a lot I could do. You know, someone's got a clenched fist right in your face, swearing at you, going away, coming back. Luckily, there was a chap, he was walking by, a youngish chap. He was pulling a trolley. I think he was doing something with the boats. He asked him to calm down, try and calm the situation. He then also got a little bit of abuse. He asked the person to walk away. Or, you know, he said that the chap said, accused me of, you know, I ought to stop. And he said, well, why do you keep walking back to him then? With that, the guy walked off and dog followed him. I was pretty shook up. There was even people waiting down by the boat yard, waiting at the corner. And when I got there, they said, oh, it looks like it's safe to walk up there now. So it was quite a traumatic event. So my question is really, I've written to the, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to necessarily, I couldn't report it to police. I got no kind of evidence. I got no footage, I got no film. I didn't use my camera to take any pictures of him. Be one word against another. I don't even know who he is. So I wrote to the, I think, I can't remember the full email address, inquiries at PSPO or whatever at North Somerset. Sent them an email just describing briefly the experience I had and asking them, can we enforce the PSPO? You know, it shouldn't be down to us residents to sort of try and police and say to people, hey, you know, because if we're going to get abuse every time you say it, I mean, you know, eventually, I mean, I'm scared now. Am I just going to say something to someone else? Maybe I shouldn't. It's maybe not my place, like the chap said. Maybe it's none of my business. But if dogs come into my space around my dogs, then possibly it is my business. And I think in a safety aspect of that dog as well, it could easily, something could spook it and it can go in. I think maybe some dogs have gone into the dock before and possibly drowned. So I guess it's just, again, it's just asking, you know, whether Portishead Town Council can put some pressures on the necessary enforcement officers. You know, how do we get, I know we've got parking attendants, they go into the marina car park and book people parking, you know, wrongly. But I very rarely see anyone enforcing any of the dogs on leash, poops, you know, not picking up poops if you get seen, and just generally keeping people safe around the dogs.
So you've covered, I guess there's quite
a lot of things. Sorry, is that too much?
Let's take the most recent sort of example that you've given us. I would always say to report any behaviour like that to the police, because it is really important for us to be able to actually provide the data in that sense to the police, to be able to actually sort of support what we need with increased sort of, you know, increased presence of the police around here. So, and if it's not, you know, an immediate concern and it's not a 999, then 101 or the Safer Streets app, which I was talking to Alan George, our other councillor, about today, so that, you know, that something like that. So it is a record of the event, because the more people that do that, and if there's any correlation of behaviour, then that supports us being able to put some pressure on the police or the PCSOs to actually have a presence in those areas. So please, if I wouldn't want to wish it on you again, but if it does happen again, then please absolutely do report it.
Well, okay.
Yeah, we're obviously looking at the safety in the marina already. We've got a working group that's looking at that now, and what provision and what areas that we have got within the marina that are any cause for concern. So we are working through that. We've got a working group as well. So. Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's lots of things sort of ongoing in terms of some of the the more sort of strategic elements, I guess, in terms of that. But separately to that, in terms of the enforcement, there is a dog warden. Although it's a sort of I don't even know. It was something I'd need to check as to whether we actually contribute to that dog warden as a North Somerset thing. But no, we don't. So we can obviously highlight the area. There's been several recent sort of highlights about, you know, the mess that there is being left around the marina for sure. So that will be something that we can probably take away and just highlight again. And then, Steve, you wanted to?
I just wondered if Mike wanted to comment on the speeding issues and the sort of number of roads where we've got concerns about speeding. And that sounds like a very genuine concern. It's one of a number of concerns. The Lake Grounds is another one where there's a lot of speeding cars in that Lake Grounds area. Cab stand up to Nor Road. Yes. I could see Mike's in the back there. I just wondered if he wanted to say anything, or Paul.
I don't specifically know anything in relation to the incident that you've mentioned, which I think is outside our parish. Valley Road is outside, yes, the boundary. Whether that falls into Weston and Gordano or Portbury, I'm not 100% sure, but we could certainly take that up, because I mean, I know from my own experience, and I'm sure a lot of people here have experienced the same, turning right out of the Black Rock is sometimes dodgy. What was the other one around the marina?
Yeah, it was just because I know obviously that you were part of the working party, and
yes, a number of recommendations were made by us in relation to some other incidences where we felt that speeding was a problem, such as coming down Cabstown. We wanted to see the 20 mile an hour extended up, had Cabstown a bit further. Whether these things will happen, it's not in our jurisdiction to make that decision. It's North Somerset Council, as we all know.
I think in terms of making sure that we record the concern, we'll obviously make sure that we know from a parish boundary point of view whether it's within our call or not, but we would still be able to make sure that North Somerset are aware of the concern that we've got from a local resident point of view anyway.
It's just that obviously North Somerset said that, you know, I needed to speak to yourself, but maybe they thought it was a local, something that was within the parish.
No, it's duly noted. So I don't know if you want to leave your contact details with us, then we can get in touch with you. We can take a little bit more information, and then we can go on from there, really.
And give them to you.
That'd be very good. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you again.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Paul. Paul, bear with me 1 second. I know Ken wanted to. Oh, if it's so related to that other point, then yeah, thank you.
Paul Gardner, I'm a councillor as well, but I'm not on this committee. But yeah, the recycling centre is definitely not in Portishead. The boundary is up Valley Road at the police headquarters. But what we did in the past, we obviously worked with the relevant other parish council and do a joint bid, because I understand North Somerset have got a new process where if the parish councils put together a proposition, they've got some forms to be filled in. So I would suggest that we contact, I think it's Western Ingordano, and District Council will be Nigel Ashton, and get them on side with it as well. From experience, they will only act if you've got support from the District Councillor as well. So I would get it from Nigel. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
All right.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
An idea how to ensure Laura might get some money. Every time we open, I've said this 1,000 times in this room, every time we open our council charge, there's an item on there that says Portishead special expenses. I've asked for years, what is that? It's about a £5 for every house in Portishead. Now, if we're going to have special expenses, I suggest it goes to Laura's outfit, because they can't, nobody Western-super-Mare can actually tell you what that's for. I've asked time and time again.
I think we did actually find out, Ken, didn't we?
Yeah, what is it? What's our special expenses then?
Various services, just elements of services.
So
that
what
North
does it, no,
Somerset provide.
that's loose.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I don't know. We'll dig in again, but I'm sure we made a request for that
If
information.
it's going anywhere, it should go to these people here. That's a special expense, not some thing in the cloud that nobody knows what they're talking about. Because I've been paying it for years. We all have. Every one of us in this room has been paying it, and nobody's really asked what it's for. It's about time it was sorted out and the money directed to the right place.
Thank you, Ken. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Yeah. Come ahead.
Good evening, Councillor Blackmore, and good evening, everybody here. I know some have had to leave, but well done, Laura. You spoke brilliantly. The people who came spoke brilliantly too. And it's just admirable to see all of you speaking so passionately about what you enjoy and what you need in the community. So well done. Emma, I'll come back to you on the things I was going to raise, because I think it's important that the things that have been discussed first. But I do want to pick up on what Ken Smith has said, because special expenses was brought up at a previous meeting. And in fact, the chairman of this town council didn't know anything about special expenses, which I find very strange. But in the council archives, and I will send you the link, there is a discussion that took place at a Portishead Town Council meeting under the last administration. And they actually wrote to North Somerset Council asking for the special expenses to be removed from the preset part of the taxation system. They wrote off, they didn't agree with it, they weren't getting the explanations about that special expenses that they deserved. It is all in the council archives. A quick search actually can find it, but I will send you the link. But I'm appalled that 5 years after the last administration left, we're still talking about special expenses, and nobody in the council seems to be any the wiser. And that concerns me, because the information is out there and it was asked to be removed. So what are the district councillors who sit on this town council are doing about it? Because we did highlight this before. So we seem to be always playing catch up all the time. But you know, I will send you the link. I sent it to the councillor that was involved at the time because she queried it as well. But it's in the archives, all right? So I don't expect you to necessarily search through things like that, but when it's raised, it needs to be addressed.
I do remember Ken raising it, and we did. I'm sure we did, but yeah, we'll take that up and just make sure that we've got the specifics.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. I
Thank you.
know the councillor who is sitting on the executive of North Somerset Council knows about it. He doesn't seem to want to share it to people in these meetings, but I will share that link with you so you can actually see, and it's in the minutes of the town council. It's not just a discussion, it's in the minutes. All right, thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, I'll just do another check. There's nobody with their hands up. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? No. Okay. Actually, what I'll do is just until we move on to the next agenda point, I'll just give us all 5 minutes. I know some people are going to leave us at this point, but yeah. So we'll just take a minute and let anybody that needs to leave, and then we can move on with the chairman's updates. All right. Thank you for everybody for attending. Right. Okay. We'll reconvene. So now we will move back to agenda point 4, which is the chairman's verbal update for the report. We've got a couple of points to cover here, and also just a couple of points for you to allow us to add a couple of more, which we need to cover. So I'm going to hand over to Councillor Gunnell just to run through the Lake Grounds Visitor Survey update, and then I'll come back to the Change in Places facility then.
So we're going to be swapping around the microphone for the next few items. So just a quick update on the Lake Ground Visitor Survey. It's ongoing. The school summer holidays have just begun. So there are going to be some, we're going back to doing some early morning sessions to get a full idea of visitor counts. North Somerset Council have drafted and asked for feedback from us on an expression of interest for the cafe tender that's going to be going live tomorrow. I've circulated to councillors, or Sharon circulated to councillors on the committee for any final bits of feedback on it. So probably best for people to send it to me and I'll forward it on to the North Somerset team, but it needs to be very quick because they're planning to release it tomorrow. So if anyone's got any comments, get it back to me by, 9 o'clock tomorrow if you can. They have listened to some of the feedback we've given, which is good news. They've also shared with us a timetable for the next stages of commissioning, which we'll need to consider, and how best to respond and how best to make sure that our town councillors, our town and our district councillors are fully involved in helping them make the right decision for us, and that may be a challenge.
I just point out that there are 1 or 2 typos in that report.
Yeah, we've noted that, so that's already been noted. Thanks, Mike. But yeah, and yeah, for mine's not necessarily such a positive one. So the Change in Places facility that we have had installed, or that has been installed by North Somerset down in the Lake Grounds, has unfortunately already undergone some vandalism. So it's not even open yet. So apart from the final commissioning, unfortunately, we've now got sort of remedial work to do on vandalism. So yeah, it's just that point again, really, I guess, about if anybody does see anybody causing any damage, to report it. We obviously don't know who has sort of made the damage, but there's damage to the roof and there's damage to the area just above the door. So yeah, it's just really disappointing that we've got such a facility that we should be really proud of. And unfortunately, yeah, we're in a position where it's going to be later now being opened than otherwise it would have been. So so yeah, we're still waiting on the actual official opening date. But as I said, at the minute we've got that remedial work which will need to be scheduled along with the final commissioning. So yep. Okay, so the next 4.3 on the agenda, so that was 4.1 and 4.2. 4.3 on the agenda is just regarding the trial that we've still got undergoing on St Peter's Road for the weeding. So we were going to be completely washed out on the date a couple of Mondays ago, which we did have planned. So we're going to reschedule that date. Obviously, oh, we've got a date. Oh, hold on.
So we've got a date of the 12th of August between 3 and 5 p.m. and a huge thanks to everyone who has volunteered to help with that.
Yeah. It's fine. We're doing it on a Monday again. Yeah, just to make sure that we can sort of share it out between the different volunteers, just, not only on the weekends. Okay, so the expression of interest we've covered in that. So, then the next sort of state of updates that we've got all are around updates that we had at the PRAM, our Portishead residents annual meeting in May. So we've kept this on the community matters agenda just so we've got some momentum, and if there's any points that anybody specifically wants to cover, we can do. For us specifically at the moment, it's the safety improvements at the marina. So we've got a working group that we've got set up for this. We're going through now, just looking at all of the different data points and all of the different feedback that we've got. So we should be in a position, really, I guess, to maybe even do a sort of an interim written update, possibly within a month or so, and then we can sort of progress from there. But that point out of the PRAM meeting, I think, has really taken all of our focus for the moment, just to make sure that we've actually got some progress on that, and it's moving forward. Is there anything else to update on?
I mean, only to say we started. The group of town councils started some survey work to get a sense of footfall in the area of greatest concern, and to date, in one of the slots, we counted over 220 people in the space of an hour going over that narrowest bit of the walkway around the marina. We're asking for advice from boat folk about their guidance for marina safety, and we're following up some other leads. Andy's dad, Steve Rees, is also thinking about running planning a petition to get people's views about it throughout Portishead.
Yeah. So we'll just make sure that all of those updates really, I guess, are sort of encapsulated, and yeah, we can provide all of the updates that we need. Okay, I don't think I had anything else to cover on the verbal update, so we'll move on with the agenda items. So agenda item number 6 now is the minutes from the previous meeting. I was all okay with everything that we've got here. Yeah, and we were present. Yeah, so no, that's fine, Jenny. So can I have a proposer for the minutes? Jenny propose, I can second, and all in favour? You wouldn't? Yeah, no, that's fine. You weren't there either, so we've done it online. Yeah, no, that's still, yeah, that's still fine. And I'll sign them when we're ready. I'll do that before I leave. That's fine. Okay, agenda item number 7 is the grant application. So we've got a correction to the Christmas lights funding, which we approved, which was in May's agenda. I think it was in May's agenda. It was in essence we were £500 adrift from the amount that we had in the actual agenda pack itself. So what we just need to do is just to agree that additional £500. The application itself was for 14,500. And that was separated into 2 lumps, so 13,500 for Christmas lights and £1,000 towards the Royal British Legion parade. That's a sort of a contribution for all of the road safety and the closures and whatnot. Yeah, first aid and associated other sort of health and safety aspects to make sure that goes all okay. £14,000 was listed on the agenda and that was approved, so we just need to approve the additional £500 here, so I can propose that. David seconds, and all in favour? Yep, so that's all done. Wendy, thank you. And then the next grant application that we've got, which is for Portishead Arts Festival, and that's for £1,504.50. So the Arts Festival is seeking to support and promote its community of artists and make sure it provides that platform to exhibit their work, and obviously the active engagement with the community as well. So what we're doing as part of this grant application is looking for the physical promotional material. So the sale banners, like what we've got down the high street, for the Portishead in Bloom, the bunting, and advertisements in local magazines as well. So it's gone through the grants working party, and the recommendation has been made to approve the funding. We did have a couple of iterations of the grant sort of funding itself, but ultimately we've come down to the agreement of £1,504.50, and that's a contribution to assist with the costs for the promotion of the public art programme and green spaces. And obviously I know it was well enjoyed by everybody that attended last year. So so do we have a proposer, Janet? Quick fingers there, and David to second, and then all in favour. So unanimous. Okay, agenda item number 8 is the carbon reduction and climate emergency. So obviously within the last couple of weeks, just to kind of ratify our position and to make it sort of a little bit more sort of geared towards what other funding that we can get by doing so, we've declared a climate emergency as a council. So we've got a report which Lynn has prepared in the pack here, and that's just a sort of an update really, I guess, just to sort of highlight all of the different aspects of what it is that we need to be doing as a council, just to make sure that the necessity and the thoughts really, I guess, around climate are in everything that we do. So there we are. We get to the report itself. So the climate work group, the first meeting has actually been held. Lynn is in the process of creating a timeline and an overarching actions list for this as well, building the plan in terms of the ethos and training for the officers and councillors as well, just to make sure that we kind of what could be termed as carbon literate. And just making sure that there's any quick wins that we can do as a council, like making the council paperless, or reviewing contracts that we've got to also be carbon neutral. It's those kind of things really, I guess, that we should be able to be moving on a little bit quicker. So no vote that needs to be taken in this. It's just to note the implications and for the town council to comply with the obligations associated with the climate emergency. That's it. And again, that's one of the things that we'll make sure is on the agenda, and we've got we've got those updates which are which we can bring to the fore as well. Agenda item number 9 is regarding the community market update. So I'm not sure whether I actually saw that one in the. I don't think we've got that in the pack, have we? No. So in essence, what we're looking at, the community market, which has been set up in Portishead Youth Centre, we're looking for a rota of councillors and volunteers to assist with a Portishead Town Council stall, which we'll have at that event. It might be that is our predecessor of our engagement meetings that we've got, which we need to sort of pull more formality around. But at the moment, we're just looking at the potential of a rota, really, I guess, that we can hold. So at least we've got councillor representation or volunteer representation at that event. Okay, Janet.
What is the date of the next community market? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but we'll be able to find out. We'll publish the list. October, is it? Next door. So yeah, we'll get all of the we'll get the whole schedule. But yeah, as I said, obviously we're getting back up to full numbers now, thankfully. But at the same time, we just want to make sure that we're, we're doing everything that we need to do, especially around the engagement meetings that we were that we're going to be kicking off as well. So sorry, Dave.
I was just going to say, Jenny went to the first one of these. I went to the second one.
Yeah.
There's a reasonable footfall. I think I spoke to about 20 people over the course of 3 hours. I think it would be helped if we asked for our stall to be put a little bit more central. I was sort of opposite the cafe, which didn't. I think some people were able to bypass, not that they saw our sign and went running, but but I think it's a once a month activity, so it could be easily shared out. I think amongst us councillors, and a really good opportunity just to meet some really good ideas came from the conversations I had there.
No, definitely. It's just about being present, isn't it? And just having another avenue of, another touch point for everybody. So, did you want to say anything, Jenny? Okay, so nothing to. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 10, which is our wellbeing and the Portishead Wellbeing Partnership update. So again, we've got an update in our pack as well. David, I knew you wanted to cover an item on this, didn't you?
Yes, I mean, all I was going to say about this was that the last meeting, they have a quarterly meeting. It's an incredibly vibrant group. Janet's been going to it and helps us up a couple of years ago now. We had 18 people attend last Wednesday week from across the voluntary sector that serves Portishead, CAB, Vision North Somerset, SARI, Chatty Cafe, Talk Club, NHS Talking Therapies, and so on. We just need to work out how we're going to support the group going forwards. The next meeting is on October the 16th in the folk hall between 10 and 12. And that will be used to help think about and plan the next cycle of meetings. But as the council, we're very keen to continue to support what is I got a sense of what's a really strong sense of cross-organisational collaboration, and great for the town.
Oh, definitely, we absolutely need to keep up the momentum on that and that networking and those partnerships and make it.
Yeah. So the meeting that we had last Wednesday of the Portishead Wellness Partnership, it was absolutely unanimous. Everybody there saying, please do continue with this networking event because it's invaluable, and we do need to keep it going.
Yeah, we'll do everything that it's within our behest, isn't it? So sorry.
Get on that guest list.
We'll make sure you are on that guest list. No worries.
I'll action it tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, go for it, Janet.
Can I add something? Amanda from the youth service, youth centre, wanted a piece of paper with the main service providers with their contact details. Just one sheet of the most important ones, and so that it can be distributed to vulnerable people and elderly people, but it needs to be accessible, so it needs to be in bold. I have already spoken to Claire about what she feels about this, and she's going to try and put together what she thinks are the most important of those contacts. And I will go back to Amanda and ask her as well what she thinks, if you like.
We make it available in whichever media print or the various different media prints.
It's finding out which the right ones first. And they need to have a phone number as well, rather than email details, because many elderly and vulnerable people don't use email.
Noted.
It'd be great to have both, if possible, and I guess have it put together by Claire before the next Wellbeing Partnership meeting, send it out to them so they have a chance to look through before the meeting and add to it. But there's a really strong message about that. Thanks, Janet.
I was just going to say that Vision North Somerset were really keen to support as well. So anything we produce to run past them to make certain that it's
Yeah.
properly accessible.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, I just noted as part of the report as well, the monthly meetings that we do have. The workshop for July, sorry, was the menopause one, and it really was a success. There was 26 attendees at that one, so it's one of our highest numbers of attendees at that workshops as well. Okay, agenda item number 11 is the signposting and referral service officer update. So we've got the report at the back of the agenda items here. And I say it's probably, I look at the numbers obviously because we don't have details of the attendees themselves, but looking at the numbers, we're actually seeing an increase in the male attendees, and I think that's probably really good to note, because it just means that we've got, we are actually getting across a more broad spectrum, really, I guess, in terms of numbers. And again, from Claire's point of view and the people that she's seeing, the range is equal. So we've got 20 to 40-year-olds, we've got 21, 40 to 60-year-olds, 19, and 60 plus 15. So we've got a really good spread in terms of the demographic of the people that we are helping. Nearly, not quite 50-50 on in terms of the male and female split that we've got here. But yeah, certainly, yeah, it's good. So Janet, go on.
Does everybody here know what that signposting service is?
I only know about it because I operate out of the youth centre, and I see Claire sat at the table typing away. That's the only thing.
Okay, and everybody else knows about it, so yeah, thank you.
I guess it's it's about that promotion of that service, and what I know we've only got Claire for a part-time role, but it's making people aware of what signposting, what it's a bit of a, not an odd job title, but it can probably be a little bit more descriptive in terms of what the service that Claire is providing is, and perhaps a little bit more of a promotion around that. It might certainly help. You're on, Jenny.
If they like. Yeah, I was going to say, when you look at the range of people that make use of the signposting service,
the referrals,
and how many there are, it absolutely has a really direct link with what somebody said here today. 2 or 3 people actually supporting Laura, saying that actually Portishead is seen as being, an affluent place. It doesn't tick the boxes as having, really high indices of deprivation on the government scales, but this is absolute evidence that we have a lot of people in Portishead who aren't enjoying the high life. Okay.
Yeah, that need that support, and so in essence, it's it's that referral to the right agency, and taking away the meandering, really, I guess, where Claire comes in. So Janet.
I think that we have to remember that information is everything, and the majority of people simply do not know that these services are there. So they have no idea how to help themselves in any way whatsoever. And to have somebody to help them navigate this is probably one of the most important things we can do.
No, indeed. Thank you, Janet. Okay, so the report is attached to the back of the agenda pack for anybody that wants any more details around that. And last agenda point, agenda item number 12 is the date of the next meeting. So we are scheduled for Wednesday, the 21st of August at 7:30. Sorry, Mike, did you have a...
I think Matt missed this business about the playground hip hop.
Oh, no, sorry.
The papers.
It is in the, you're right, sorry, it is in the papers, but it hasn't been noted on the agenda. So we are, thank you, we are going to have to move it to the this August meeting, so it will be an agenda point. Yes, it is in the pack. Yeah, and we were meant to cover it, but yeah, I'm afraid the not the legality. Yeah. Yeah.
Comments was going to be made.
I can imagine it is. I'm afraid you'll have to, hold your comment until the 21st of August at 7:30. We are, we will probably be back up in our normal room, unless of course we have, a wonderful array of people sort of back here that we need the space for. But it was truly great this evening to see so many people here. It really was, and if we could get everybody here for all of our meetings, that would be lovely. Yeah, so that's it. I shall close the meeting. It is 8:59. Thank you everybody online.